My name's Jason Jarrod. I'm an exercise scientist and an exercise physiologist. Every injury is unique and every fitness goal is unique. Work with me and you'll get the professional direction you need with your situation. Welcome back to another video. Today I will be speaking about posture. Posture, maybe a little bit about technique. Is it important? What should your posture look like? Maybe I'll give a bit of a demo. I don't know. I'm just really gonna. It's Friday, guys. I'm feeling crazy. I'm feeling crazy. That's what we do. Oh my god. So, posture. How good's my posture? Look at that. You know, I've been told, I've worked in hospitals and I've worked in clinics, and I always get people say, oh, you have really good posture. So that's probably a result of the Pilates stuff that I've done. I don't know if I have good posture. Apparently I have what people believe is good posture. So that's good. I do try to hold myself tall. It's the clinical Pilates, what can I say? So many places to start here. It excites me. Can you tell I'm excited? I'm excited. I'm excited. So posture kind of matters, but not as much as we used to think. It matters more so during exercise, and we call that technique. You know, it's dynamic posture during exercise. We're moving, and it's better we move in certain ways to minimize aggravating our current injuries or creating new ones. But overall, we're coming to learn that we've probably given too much credence to posture, particularly more so static posture, how you're sitting and how you're holding yourself is not as relevant to our chronic injuries as we used to think. Not as relevant. So unfortunately, specialists and health professionals have drawn too many conclusions from correlational data, meaning that, you know, forward head tilt, people often have a headache. Well, there are often other reasons why people have a headache that causes them to sit with a forward head posture. There are also plenty of people with a forward head posture who have no headache and no issues. So we've got to be careful about the conclusions that we draw. I've spoken about chronic lower back pain in a previous video and MRI scans. So maybe let's look at the lower back, because that's an interesting one. Lordotic curve is when you have that nice natural curve like this in your lower back. Some people have a more excessive curve. Some people have a flat back. It doesn't matter. Does it? Maybe not. The important thing is, how often does your posture vary from your neutral? What is an acceptable variation? What hurts? What doesn't hurt? Do you have an injury? How often do you change posture, particularly when seated or static? So essentially, I'm not going to talk too much about posture during exercise, because that is important. It's technique. But posture while seated, or it's just not as correlated with, it's not as linked to causing chronic issues as we used to think, essentially. So don't stress too much about the posture. Now, I say that as somebody, health professionals are about to come at me. I can feel it. Look, I say this as someone who used to be an absolute pedant over posture. Okay? I'm swinging away from that position the more I learn about chronic injuries and posture as well. So I was the posture guy, really. As far as I'm concerned, I was doing a lot of Stuart McGill based movement assessments, telling people where their postural neutral was. You know, your chin's got to be here, wide across the chest and shoulders, which is true to an extent during exercise. I still say this stuff, so I'm not contradicting myself to my clients. I'm letting you know I'm not contradicting. It sounds like I am. I'm kind of contradicting. I'm not, but I am. So, but it just doesn't matter that much unless you're doing a one-armed row with 50 kilograms and I'm seeing your shoulder go like that, okay? Well, why does it matter during exercise? Because we're putting more strain and pressure and tension through the joint than if you're just seated at a desk all day. It can still have effects, but you're not lifting heavy force. So now again, Not to say it can't have an effect. There's no doubt that if you sit in a certain way, hunched forward, there's no doubt you're going to get tension in your shoulders. I get tension in my shoulders, but we've just got to be cautious about saying how that's linked to neck disorders or headaches, or there's a lot of correlations, and we've just got to be really careful. And the reason I'm a little bit passionate about this, like I said, I have a clinical Pilates qualification, and I'm passionate about lower back injuries and rehabilitation. Clinical Pilates is all about the posture, let me tell you. And they're good at it. They're good at posture, and they're all about it. Clinical Pilates is typically the type of rehabilitation that physiotherapists deliver to acute and subacute patients, so people who've just injured themselves. Clinical Pilates is perfect for that. So maybe it's more relevant for people who've just injured themselves, how they're doing something. But if you've got a chronic long-term injury, or you don't have an injury, how relevant is it? I've seen people with absolute crap posture, and it might be something they can't change. They've just got a kyphosis. Kyphosis is when your back's like this. It's not, guys, it's not going anywhere. I can't fix that. I can't fix it. Not if they're 60 years old, and that's not going anywhere. But I've seen people with type of posture been able to safely lift very heavy weights without issue, because we approached the exercise appropriately. The takeaway message here is that there's a large variety of acceptable postures. I'm not excusing shit posture or shit technique, but there's a large variety of acceptable postures. So before I mentioned the lower back, this is not necessarily worse than this neutral curve. This massive curve can be okay. This flat back can be okay. One's not necessarily better than the other, and someone with a nice, normal, optimal, neutral curve might have immense pain, whereas someone with a massive hyperlordotic curve could be fine and never had pain in the back before. Let's just be careful about not being too pedantic about posture. It has a place and a role. This sort of thing, I really do recommend that you speak to a health professional and to help dispel some myths. Unfortunately, you do need to be cautious about who you speak to, because there are certain professions that are built around posture, so you're probably not going to get a very impartial view. So with that said, I think we're going to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining me today. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future amazing videos. Be sure to hit like and comment below. Tell me how amazing I am, how awesome I am, how much you love me, and how much you want to have my children. Feel free to message me directly, and I will see you again soon.